So, hello and welcome to week number 10. Day number 10 of our 15-day meditation challenge. And today we're going to answer one of those questions that we keep on getting over and over again. That is the standard question for all human beings: why am I here? So the topic is really the one of laws of karma. I'm sure you've heard that many times in terms of karma, and is my bad karma, is my good karma. So we're going to discuss that a little bit, because as human beings, there's three fundamental questions that we all have at some time or other. Where did I come from? Why am I here? And where am I going? We're not the first to ask these questions, you and I. It's been asked for thousands of years, and therefore it's better to go to some instruction that gives us an answer to these questions, rather than trying to contemplate it from scratch. And what the Shastra within the Vedas tell us about it is the law of karma. And the law of karma, and karma means action, basically says for every action there's a consequence. Really, I mean, it's for granted. There are expressions in the Western world, many of them, as you sow, so shall ye reap. It's a practical example. So for every action, for every event, there is a consequence. And that consequence can be immediate. You punch somebody in the face, they punch you back, right? Immediate consequence. Or it could be more long-term. And that long-term consequence can be either beneficial or non-beneficial. Note, I don't use the term good or bad. Good or bad is a cultural thing. What is good in some cultures is considered bad in others. So something that is beneficial or non-beneficial. Beneficial or non-beneficial to what? Beneficial or non-beneficial to your spiritual progress. Something that takes you forward is considered a beneficial outcome. Something that takes you back is not. So we have this concept of karma, actions producing a consequence. That consequence in Sanskrit is called phalam, P-H-A-L-A-M, phalam. It means fruit. Effectively, the fruit of one's action. Something that is produced as a result of the actions. You can see it's quite a nice word. So karma phalam is the result. And when we are alive, we are performing actions all the time. And these actions are determined by our will. You get up in the morning and you decide whether your left foot or your right foot touches the ground first. It's completely up to you. Your will. You perform an action. Every breath that you take in and out is an action. Every physical or mental thought is an action. Everything that you do, either physically, emotionally, mentally, these are all actions. And all these karmas have a phalam, and the phalam can be beneficial, in which case they're called punya, or they can be non-beneficial, and they're called papa. So punya and papa are the beneficial and non-beneficial outcomes of karmic actions, karma. easy so far. If you do not, because the punya and papa can actually come about some time away from the action, you effectively accumulate them in this lifetime. If you like, they're credits and debits on a bank account. And you're accumulating them all the time as you perform actions. You cannot possibly perform an action without a consequence. And you accumulate these credits and debits until you die. And at the point of death, it could be that there are still karma phalam that have not been exhausted, i.e., they've not come into being. They haven't exercised themselves, if you like. And these, they're not wasted. They're accumulated in what's called sanchita karma. If you like, it's a grand bank in the universe. We all have an account there, a major account, and into which we put the punya and papa that we've had left over from this particular life. It's said that when you perform an action, there are always consequences, whether the consequences are in this life or in another. From this sanchita karmic bank, you make a withdrawal when it's time for you to have another life, another physical body. And you withdraw punya and papa in a certain ratio. It's up to you. But the life that you get is designed to exhaust the withdrawal that you've taken. So we come to one of our first questions. Why am I here as a male or a female, of this ability or non-ability, in this household, in this country, with these facilities or non-facilities? Why am I different to my neighbor? What makes it so? Is it random? And the answer is no, it's not. You are here in order to exhaust the karmic withdrawal, the phalam withdrawal that you've made. And this withdrawal is called prarabdha karma. So from the sanchita karmic bank, you have made a withdrawal called prarabdha karma. And this the exhaustion of the prarabdha karma that determines your entire makeup, both physical and mentally, and your entire environment. It makes you, you. Now, this has great consequences. It means that there isn't a person up in the clouds, bearded guy, old guy, that's determining you're going to be pretty and you're going to be ugly, you're going to be bright, you're going to be not, you're going to be short, you're going to be tall. It doesn't happen that way. The only person that you can blame or you can thank for you being you is you. It doesn't fall upon anyone else. So there's a certain acceptance. I am the way I am because of me, because of the way I was and the things that I have done. And the prarabdha karma is said to be like an arrow that's released from the bow at the time of birth. And as it flies along, it exhausts the karma phalam, the prarabdha karma phalam with which you were born. So major events in your life, such as partners, such as major diseases, such as possible exit strategies, are determined by the prarabdha karma. Now, that's not to say you should be fatalistic and say, oh, that's just my prarabdha karma. That's why I'm the way I am. Because now, of course, you're alive, you have your will. You have your willpower to change things. The way to think about prarabdha karma is that you are a magnificent, gigantic locomotive, very powerful, able to go forwards and backwards at will, at enormous speed and power, as long as there's tracks. It's the prarabdha karma that gives you the tracks, and it's your will that provides the power to your locomotive. Because of the way you were born, you can't fly. Because of the way I was born, I can't have a child. So in the way that you're born limits what you can or cannot do. The beauty of it is, all of you here today, listening to my voice, are incredibly privileged, as we all are, to be human beings. We really are at the top of the goodie box. Because only as human beings do we have the power to evaluate ourselves and to learn and come to know who we are. It can only be done as human beings. So human beings, being a human being, is an extreme privilege, and it shouldn't be wasted. And you aren't wasting it. You're on a search, you're on a journey, a pursuit to find out who you are. And you need to understand that this is not a one lifetime thing. You have been doing it for some time. That's why it comes naturally to you and not to others. This arrow of prarabdha karma is in flight throughout your life. For when it falls to the ground, that is the end of your life. This is why the great saints who were self-enlightened could not change the prarabdha karma with which they were born. Many of them died of cancer. They understood it all, but they were not able to cure the cancer because of their power. That was the prarabdha karma. And they would now go forward with the knowledge that they have through their will. And the karma phalam that we generate during our lifetime is called agami karma. So there you have it, the karmic cycle. Now, as a result of all of our will, we're generating agami karma, some of which is exhausted while we are alive. Others we push into a karmic bank called sanchita karma as punya and papa. And from that, we make a withdrawal, and that withdrawal determines who we are. It's a cycle, the cycle of life, that hereby we are born again and again. There is good news. Advaita Vedanta says there is a way to break this cycle through knowledge, but that is for another day. Now, a lot of words, a lot to think about. So settle down in your meditative posture. Be comfortable and relaxed. on the floor or on the chair. It doesn't matter. Remember, as long as your spine is straight. But not strained, because you're going to relax and it has to stay that way. Observe your breathing. And start your relaxation technique of settling the body down and quiet and calm. Now see yourself as who you are. Your environment, your abilities, your situation, your past, your possibilities for the future. And say to yourself, I did that. No one else. It is my entire doing. And look at the wonder that you've created. How brilliant you are. How much good you must have done, not only in this life, but many, many lives in the past. Every action, karma. Every result, phalam, of those thousands of lives were done to bring you to this point. For you to be able to learn a little bit more about who you are. What an incredible journey it's been. Every time you go to the shops and you go to the sales assistant to pay, and you look at their face, smile, and say, every step, every thought that I've had in all of my lives has led me to this moment of being able to look at you. None of life is an accident. What seems the good and the bad were both necessary to get you to where you are now. Life is not a dress rehearsal. Every action that you take, the consequences will be recorded and will be given back unto you. But I'm not going to be fatalistic. Even though I was born with the prarabdha, it can be modified through my actions. Like an egg that was predetermined to fall, can either crack or not, depending on whether I put a cushion below it. I love what I have, and I have the power to make things even better. Not only in this life, but in lives yet to be. I cannot affect the past. The present is the only time in which I live and perform actions. But what I do now will determine the future. I love the life I have now because I gave it to me. I love the life I'm going to have in the future because I'm giving it to me. There are no others. I am all there is. Well done, everyone. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Good night. Sweet dreams. Thank you for being with me today. And I look forward to your company again tomorrow evening. Good night, everyone.